So I first got Hollow Knight, I think all the way back in 2017 through Indiebox. It's like a special collector's edition that was part of a subscription service. But I never really played it. I started it, I think I played maybe a half hour, but I never really got into it. I was just playing a lot of other things at the time, and I don't know, I just never got into the game. I've never been huge into Metroidvania games. I've played some Metroid, but recently with all the silksong news and everyone getting hyped for that, I decided that there has to be something here like that's appealing to that many people, because it's very rare for a Metroidvania to have this kind of impact just on video game culture in general. Like, this is probably one of the most hyped up games of 2025, and it's a $20 indie game. So that really made me want to actually try the original Hollow Knight more. And I haven't finished it yet, but I did want to just give my thoughts over the first 17 hours or so of playing it. Like, I understand what the hype is about with this game. The art style is great, the music's great, the atmosphere, the different abilities, the platforming, like, this is an expertly designed game. I don't think it's perfect, and I'll get to that, but for the price that you're paying for this game, it's probably one of the best values you could get. Like, a lot of times with games, especially difficult games, I just like get bored of it after a while. I just don't have motivation to keep playing it. Like Bloodborne, I played it a few years ago, probably like 2018 now, like 7 years ago, and I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't really get past the first level. It just got too frustrating. I'd make it usually further each time, but I don't know. I just like didn't have the motivation to keep playing it. No, I don't think Hollow Knight is as difficult, but there's been boss fights where I've had to redo them I don't know how many times. There's been parts that were really frustrating because I died because an enemy came out of nowhere, and then I had to go to get all my geo from across the map because I didn't find a bench. And there's been times where I just lost like close to 1,000 geo, and that's really frustrating. It's some things like that where in other games where it makes me just not want to play it. But for Hollow Knight, yeah, it's still frustrating to lose, especially have to redo things, but I'm still motivated to play. It makes me just want to go back. Now, like I said, it's definitely not a perfect game. I think there's some boss fights that I don't want to say feel unfair, but just kind of have annoying mechanics that I just don't think are necessary. Like there's one of the boss fights where enemies just spawn out of thin air and you could just get hit just by being in the wrong place, and I don't know if there's even a pattern for it. There's some boss fights that kind of also feel like they just don't follow a pattern as much. Whether that's true or not, it seems kind of random at times. Wish there were a few more hints. I'm not sure if maybe I've just missed there being hints, but like when I'm playing this, I don't want to just go on a wild goose chase. Like I try to avoid using a guide as much as I can, but if I know I need an ability or something and it's just something I miss, I don't want to have to search the entire map. So I don't care if you don't think that's the right way to play. There's been a couple times where I've just looked up an area that I might need to go to. It's because I have limited time to play games. Like I work on these videos, at least on my main channel. Like I work a full-time job. I have things to do. So when I'm playing a game, I don't want to have to just wander around and get nothing done for the time I have to play. So yeah, I'm going to avoid trying to cheat, if you will. Like I don't know if you want to call it cheating using a guide, but it does seem like there's a lot of times where I just do end up wandering aimlessly, and sometimes it actually is satisfying because I'll find something I wouldn't have found otherwise. But then there's other times where I'll be searching for a while and just find almost nothing. But anyway, those are some of the negatives with it. But what about like what I really like about this game? So outside of the things I mentioned in the beginning, just to be more specific, the gameplay is extremely satisfying when you finally defeat that boss, or when you go back to an area, like let's say there's a big gap you couldn't get across, and then you get the ability, whatever it's called, that lets you go across large gaps. Like it's satisfying to remember that and then go back and be able to access new areas. When you finally defeat a boss fight and just get all the geo, like that's another thing that's just extremely satisfying, and it keeps you wanting to play. And then the map layout is just like one of the best I've seen in a Metroidvania, because each area is just distinct. Like you know what's in each area, like the kind of scenery you're going to get. I know pretty much all Metroidvanias have different areas like this, but it just feels a lot more distinct here. And you're going to be going back to all these areas multiple times because almost every single one has something that you can't access when you're first going to go there. Like it's not a game where you're going to go in the same path as everyone else. Like there's going to be differences in people's playthroughs. Like maybe you go to a different area first. So depending on how you play, there could be a lot of backtracking. And what I do is I just keep a mental note. If there's something I just can't do, I'll either place a pin or I'll just remember it. And then I'll go back, and at this point, I've unlocked most of the abilities. There's only a couple. One of them I haven't unlocked yet is when there's, I don't even know what it's called. The thing you can't go through, it's like this black shadow thing that it doesn't do damage to you, but you just can't go past it. So that's one of the few things. There's a couple points where you have to go across a gap, but not like a big gap, because I have that ability where there's like very little room to go under it, if that makes sense. If you play the game, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like right now, about 17 hours in, I'm still focusing on trying to just get stronger. I'm trying to do the next Hornet fight, which is in, I don't want to spoil where it is, but I tried that fight a bunch of times. I couldn't do it, so I just went back in other places in the game to try to get stronger. And I feel like that's not an unfair fight. I feel like it's just a difficult fight that I either didn't have the health for, or I didn't have the abilities or badges I needed. But I think I'm going to go back to the fight soon, because I have gotten my health increased, I've gotten new abilities, I've gotten some new badges. And going back to that, I know I talked about the negatives before, but something I just thought of is I get what they're going for, where they want you to explore more instead of just fast traveling, because there are like limited points you can fast travel to. It does kind of get frustrating after a while though, just because, like, once again, I know that's what they're going for. That's a purposeful design choice, but it just gets frustrating when I need to get across the map and I'm just nowhere near either the tram or the actual fast travel system. And it gets frustrating after a while. Because like I said, when I have a limited time to play this game, I don't want to spend most of it just going from point A to point B, doing nothing in between when I know where I want to go. I wish there was more, even doesn't even need to be more benches necessarily. So if you die, then you don't have to go as far. I just mean like the stag stations, like just have more spread out, make it so if I want to get somewhere, it's not going to take more than a few minutes to get there. And I know later on there is an ability that lets you fast travel more, but that's by that point when you get it, I think it's towards the end of the game. And even though I have some complaints with this game, I don't think it's a badly designed game. Like, I think it's far from it. I think these are purposeful design choices that a lot of people do like. I don't think it's something I would knock it too much for if I was giving it a true review. Like, I think this is a great game, and this actually makes me want to get into more Metroidvania games. Like, following this, I'll probably play Silksong. There's a couple of Metroid games I haven't played. I'll probably get into those. And there's a lot of great Metroidvania games out there, but it's not one of the more popular genres. And I think Hollow Knight has really done a good job of making this known to more people. Like, when I've tried to explain what Hollow Knight is to some people who do play video games, it's not like they're completely knowledgeless on video games, but I would say, do you know what Hollow Knight is? And they'll be like, yeah, I heard of it, I don't know really what it is. And I'll say, do you know what a Metroidvania is? And unless it's someone who's like truly like into a lot of video games, they're not going to know what it is. And the way I describe it is just like, it's a big map and you fight bosses and stuff. You get new abilities to unlock new parts in the map. There's a lot of backtracking. So I do think Hollow Knight has done a great job in actually getting more people into this kind of game, because I know there's probably a lot of people that didn't play a Metroidvania before this. Because really outside of really Metroid and Castlevania, it's pretty rare for one of these to be like a mainstream game. And then some things I want to give the developers credit for is just the price of the game. Like Hollow Knight, I forgot how much it cost when it came out, but it wasn't much. And then Silksong just came out for $20. Like, Nintendo just released Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC with who knows how little content compared to Silksong for the same price. Like, I know it's an indie developer, they have less expenses, but still, like, that just shows that they're not trying to take advantage of the consumer, because if they charge $40 for this, it would still sell really well. Like, remember when No Man's Sky came out 9 years ago now, and they charged $60 even though that was an indie game, and a lot of people were upset about that. Now, even with inflation, 9 years later, this game cost $40 less. And I think that probably is part of the reason why everyone was so hyped for this game and why it sold as well as it did. I know we don't have sales numbers yet, but I guarantee when we get the numbers, it's going to be a huge success. So I hope more developers go this route where they make just a very detailed game. Like, it's nothing too crazy here if you actually look at it. The game itself is fairly straightforward, at least in the sense that there's nothing out of the ordinary here for what the game is. You get different abilities, you fight bosses, you discover new areas. Like, that's what the game is, and it's great for it. And since it's sold at such an affordable price and you get so much content, like, this is a game that's going to take you well over 20 hours most likely. Like, that makes this game very accessible. And I think, or I should say, I think, at least I hope some AAA developers take a look at this and then stop raising game prices to $80, because eventually games are going to get to a price where the average consumer just will not pay them, or they'll wait. Like, what I do is I wait for the game to drop in price, because most games drop in price by half within a few months. So unless it's a game I really want, I just buy it secondhand. And that hurts the developer and the publisher, because they make money only when you actually buy the game directly and not buy a used copy. So for $20 for a game like this, like, I know there's no physical copy yet, but let's say there was, I'd be more willing to get a game like that instead of spending $80 on a game that's going to give me either the same or less amount of content. So obviously Silksong is very new, so we'll have to see. And I really look forward to playing Silksong soon, because I think I don't know if I'm necessarily at the end of Hollow Knight yet, because I'm not the best at the game, so it's probably going to take me a little longer than the average person. But I'm 17 hours in, so I'd assume that I'm at least probably in the last quarter of my gameplay with it. I don't try to 100% games. I just want to get from the start to the finish without trying to do everything in between. doesn't mean I want to just skip things that I don't have to do. Like, I still want to explore a lot of the game. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on Hollow Knight as someone who has never really been too big into the Metroidvania genre, someone who got this game 8 years ago now, but never really played it. And I completely understand what the hype is about. If you haven't played Hollow Knight, if you think this is a game you'd enjoy, you could pick it up for probably $10-15. I'm not sure how much it is now. It's on everything: Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. So you're going to have a way to play this game. Even if you don't have a great PC, it's not too demanding to run. Personally, I'd play this with a controller. Like, if you're better with keyboard and mouse, go for that. For me, this is a game I cannot play without a controller. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe if you're here from Domainy. I basically just made this channel, just make these kind of videos where I don't have a script or anything. There's not any complex editing. I just want to talk about some of my thoughts, whether it's gaming, maybe some YouTube stuff. And if you're not from Domainy, if you just found this video on your suggested, be sure to check out my main channel. It's linked in the description. It's going to be on the channel page. That's where I make more of my scripted videos, like my videos that take a lot more time to make. This, all I did was just record my thoughts. But be sure to subscribe if you haven't, like the video, as it really helps me out. This is my first video on the channel. And let me know some of your thoughts on Hollow Knight in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.